Hey guys, this is Daniel, Dr. D, and I'm back with another review, and this time it's going to be on the Nobsound passive preamp. Now, if you go online, you won't see any reviews on these. I don't know why. Uh, Reviews that I've looked, I've Googled everything I could. It just seems like all you see are just these infomercial kind of looking things, and there's just not much on it. And all this is a passive preamp. Now, I know some of you are out there saying, no, this is not a preamp. A preamp means before. That's all that is, okay? So it is a passive preamp. It just doesn't, all it works is a volume control. And it utilizes a Japanese Alps volume control internally, okay? And I'll show you some pictures as we go along with various colors and whatnot. But the thing I love about it so much is that it doesn't introduce any impedance issues to my Dynaco ST35, which is my reference amplifier, as well as my ST70. And those are my two most cherished audio devices as far as amplifiers are concerned. And it just mates absolutely beautiful with either of them. And you can just, the thing that's so incredible, it doesn't matter if you spend 20 or 30 or 40, it doesn't matter how many thousands of dollars you spend. This is as pure as you're going to get. I mean, you're getting the signal of just this. It's all it's doing is introducing volume. It doesn't have a circuit. It's just got, this device, the Alps inside, and then it's just got a few internal board wires and just connects to the RCAs, and boom, there you go. So I'm going to tell you some of the advantages and disadvantages, but before we do, I want to show you the schiit cis. This is also a passive preamp, and cis means switch your schiit. So what you can do is, if you want, you can hook up, say, your DAC with your CD or transport or whatever to one of the inputs, and your phono stage to the other. So you have two. And then this would lead to your your amplifier would lead into this. Okay, so I between the two is no contest. The Nobsound is just far superior in build quality, and it's just so much nicer. It's solid. It's simple. It's just so much more well made. It's all machined aluminum. I cannot believe this thing is only $40. You can get them in quantities for as little as $29 a piece. If you buy them in quantity. But there are 6 versions because they have a black, gold, and they have a silver color. And they also have different potentiometer inside. They have the Alps version, and then they have that standard pot that they use. And those ones typically cost even less. So I got the Alps Hi-Fi version, and that's what you see here. And but the reason that I much prefer the Nobsound is it doesn't introduce any impedance issues, just like the cis does not either, which is good. But more importantly, it's just the solid volume control. The shit feels kind of cheap, with this button and everything. And it's just, it's gadgety with all this extra stuff. And I don't care that I have to, reconnect my phono stage to one of the inputs here on the back versus my CD transport with the DAC to the back. Because when I play music, I sit all night and just listen to my turntable on an entire night. So I'm gonna, the way it works for me is I'm just gonna set up my turntable phono stage into here, into the input of this thing. And then the output, of course, will go into the input of the amplifier and out to the speakers. But one of the advantages of doing a passive preamp is if you have a nice amplifier and you can't afford a preamp stage, like a really nice one, like this Pass is really nice. I love this. This is one of my most cherished audio components. And so I love this thing. And, but if you don't have, 12, 13, 1400 bucks to spend, and that's a lot of money to you, there is absolutely nothing wrong with getting a passive preamp, and you're not going to be compromising sound quality. The passive preamps don't introduce any kind of colorization, so you're hearing the purity of the amp itself. Now, the disadvantage is that it can be an advantage or a disadvantage, and that is you can you have less gain. Okay, so you're going to probably lose, I don't know, 4 or 5 decibels of gain. So if you're running speakers like a Magnepan, like I can connect this Nobsound, no problems or impedance issues with the Schiit R2. It worked beautifully. And like I say, with the ST35 and my ST70 for that matter, it works perfect, right? But if you don't have efficient speakers like these, it might be troublesome, for a speaker like the Magnepan. I got to turn this thing up to like 3 o'clock just to get any volume. And Magnepans need a lot of current, they need a lot of power, and they just need a lot of, gain to really get up and dance. So I wouldn't say that this worked that well for the Magnepan LRS Pluses that I have. But if you have reasonably efficient speakers that are, say, 90 dB efficient or above, then it's fabulous. These are about 100 dB efficient. One of the disadvantages is if your preamp has any kind of floor noise, these are going to bring it out, because these speakers are so efficient. So if you just have your, your preamp and your amp on standby, it's possible that some people may have issues with floor noise. Well, if you want to eliminate that, you can try and experiment with a passive preamp. It's very little money, and it can help eliminate any floor noises that you have, because sometimes preamps can introduce their own noise. The tube devices are like, they're like antennas. They can pick up radio frequencies and all sorts of, ground loop noises and things like that. Things that just this thing almost seems to be immune to it. And so that's one of the beauties of these things is just they're so quiet, because it's nothing more than a volume control. And now it's volume control with some, with a board with connectors to the RCAs, and it's as simple as that. So, and they just don't cost a lot. Like I say, if you don't have the money to spend on a preamp, definitely consider a passive preamp. And I've been using it. I love it. It's just enjoyable sometimes. And then sometimes when I really want to get up and boogie, I'll turn the regular preamp in and get that extra additional gain and tone controls and things that I also like. So it's just, I don't look at either of these as being, the almighty answer for everything. It's just better to have the ability to switch back and forth if you choose to, and so, nothing's necessarily better than the other, it just depends on what you're going to want. So sometimes passive preamps work really good. But if you guys are debating between the two, hands down, go the Nobsound. The build quality is so much nicer. And like I say, this thing's kind of like a tin can by comparison. Like on a scale of 1 to 10, I give this a 10 as far as build quality, and this thing I'll give like a 5, So anyway, I hope this helps you out, and I'm going to now show you some of the internals and colors of the Nobsound. All right. So here we just have an illustration of the colors here. Obviously the gold, silver, and black, and you see the inside of it. This is just another look at. These are just some photos I downloaded from the internet, so you could see basically what it looks like. It's pretty nicely made. It's actually very nicely made. Obviously black color in here. Just another close look at the Alps volume control on the inside. And then obviously they show this Alps control made in Japan. And I've looked up this Alps control just by itself, and it costs almost as much as just buying this whole device. Pretty remarkable. That's the gold. I ordered one of every color, so they're just easy to have one on each of my sound systems here. Now this here on the back here, just there's the pot on the right, and then the Alps on the left, the Japanese Alps, and then the back here, as you can see, with the RCA inputs and outputs, and that's it. It's as simple as that. Clean, simple device. So anyway, thanks for watching. We'll be back at you soon.